Hi guys, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing my favorite animated TV shows. This video is a little bit different from what I normally do on my channel, considering that I make videos about books and TV shows are not about books. But I figured that TV shows and books have something in common in that they basically both tell stories. I also just wanted to talk about them. I originally was going to do one video on my favorite TV shows in general, but then the list was way too long. So I decided to just split it up, and this is going to be animated shows, and the next video in this series kind of thing is only going to be 2 videos, so it's not really a series, but the next one is going to be like live action Netflix shows. The first 2 shows I'm going to talk about are kind of more adult animated TV shows, and the rest of them are meant for children, but I still love them, and I rewatched them recently enough that I still feel comfortable recommending it to people my age. So the first one of these is Bob's Burgers, and this is not exactly an adult show because I think it's pretty family friendly. Bob's Burgers is about Bob Belcher, who owns a burger joint called Bob's Burgers, and it's about him and his family and their adventures running this restaurant and like just living their lives, and it's really funny. I recommend it if you like maybe The Simpsons, slightly more family friendly, and the kids on this show I love a lot more than the kids on The Simpsons. And yeah, it's just really funny. If you were looking for some good wholesome fun, I definitely recommend it. The first 5 seasons are on Netflix. I think we're on season 6 right now. I'm behind. I haven't seen most of the last season, but I will catch up on it, and I have seen most of the show, and I can guarantee it's really funny, and if you're just looking for a good comedic show, I definitely recommend it. The second adult TV show that I recommend is Bojack Horseman. This one I didn't actually think I would like when I started watching it. Bojack Horseman is set in a world where anthropomorphic animals and humans coexist normally, so it's not weird that this talking cat is talking to you and like living life like a regular person. And it's about Bojack Horseman, who is a horse, who was the star of a 90s sitcom, and then it's now present day, and he's like old and washed up, and he hasn't had really any work since he was in that sitcom, and he's depressed and cynical and just a sad character. But the show is really funny, and then it kind of goes deeper, and you really get kind of see into Bojack's like life and all the things that he's been doing. And the first season centers around him trying to become more relevant again by having this tell-all memoir that his ghostwriter will be helping him write, and it just kind of centers around that and like his adventures with his agent, and he has a person who lives in his house who's kind of just a freeloader, and it's just really funny, but also it has that deeper side to it. And I recommend, I know this is kind of a long commitment, but watch the first 7 episodes, because the first 6 episodes are kind of just silly and fun, but then like the 7th one, like around then is when it gets into more deep subject matter and things like that. So I probably wouldn't recommend for like if you're under like, I don't know, 13. I'd probably give it a PG-13 rating. This next one, I think that if you take any recommendation out of this video at all, like just one show that you decide to watch, it should be this one, and that show is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm sure you've heard of it because it's really a popular show. A lot of kids, including me, kind of grew up with it, and it basically takes place in a fantasy setting based on Asian cultures. So if the camera angle looks a little different, it's because my phone decided to stop recording. It takes place in this fantasy setting where there are benders for each element. Those elements are earth, water, fire, and air. And the benders of these elements each live in their respective like kingdoms. There's the Earth Kingdom and like the Fire Nation for as examples. And the Avatar is a person who can control all of these elements, and he or she is meant to keep balance in the world and keep like the nations and everything from fighting each other. But at the start of the show, the Avatar has been gone for 100 years, and in that 100-year time span, the Fire Nation has been able to start a war with all the other nations. And this show follows Aang, who is the Avatar, and so with that, he has the responsibility of trying to stop the war that the Fire Nation has started. Everything about the show is just phenomenal. The world building is amazing. You can tell how much time they put into every aspect of it. Since it is based on Asian cultures, they have a lot of research done into it, and all of the bending is based on various forms of martial arts. Storytelling is great. You care about all the characters so much, And yeah, it's just a great show, and I really recommend it. And to a lesser extent, I do recommend Legend of Korra, which is kind of a sequel follow up to Avatar The Last Airbender. It follows Korra, who's the next avatar after Aang. I will be the first one to admit that I didn't like Legend of Korra as much as Avatar The Last Airbender, but I think if you liked Avatar The Last Airbender, you'll still enjoy Legend of Korra and have something to gain from it. The next three shows are all about superheroes. That's just because I really like superheroes. I feel like I don't express that enough on my channel. One of the easiest ways to get into superheroes is definitely through cartoons, because there's a lot going on in the DC animated universe. So I think that's a good way to get started if you have any interest in superheroes, especially DC superheroes. So the first one is Static Shock. It is basically about Virgil Hawkins, who is a teenager in Dakota City, who ends up caught up in an event that is eventually known as the Big Bang, where he is exposed to some kind of gas that gives him a mutation that allows him to control like static electricity and gives him electricity related powers, and he decides to use his powers for good and help out his city and stop other bang babies who are like people who have also been affected by this gas and have mutated. This show is really important for me because Virgil is a black teenage boy, and he is the main character of the show. His family is black, and it also deals with a lot of social issues such as race, as well as like gang activity, gun violence, homelessness, just so many things. Science, even because of the mutation thing. Like, it's just really good. I enjoyed it a lot. This show is not on Netflix, but if you like look up TV show on YouTube, then you can definitely find a couple episodes at least. The next show I'm recommending is kind of like two shows in one. It is Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. Basically, Justice League Unlimited is a direct continuation of Justice League, so I'm recommending them as one. This follows all the superheroes we know and love: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Hawkgirl, and Martian Manhunter are all on a team, and they just go around saving people like as the Justice League does. Again, I recommend if you like DC Comics. I just enjoy it because I enjoy superheroes, and I enjoyed the first two seasons, which are collectively known as just show Justice League, a lot more than Justice League Unlimited, just because the first two seasons focus on the people who I mentioned more, and then Justice League Unlimited follows the expansion of the Justice League and includes a lot more heroes, and there's less of a focus on specific characters. To go along with Justice League, I also recommend Young Justice. Young Justice is basically kind of like Justice League, a little bit. It basically takes all the kid versions of all the superheroes that I mentioned, and it puts them on a team, and it follows their adventures together and them learning how to work on a team. In this one, the Justice League still exists, and they're actually mentors to the younger counterparts, and it's just such a good show. Again, this show is kind of split up into two in my mind. There are only 2 seasons, so if you're looking for a short show, the first season is again more specifically character focused, and then in the second season there's an expansion, so I did enjoy it less, but I still love the show overall. And again, if you're looking for superheroes, I definitely recommend it. The next show I'm going to recommend is very different from all the other shows that I have recommended and will be recommended. That is because it is an anime. It is the only anime I've ever watched, and probably the only anime I will watch. It is Ouran High School Host Club, and I love this show. Like, there's no other way. Like, it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. If you like anime, I don't know how you've missed this. And if you don't like anime and you're kind of more like me, where you don't really watch it, I still recommend it because I definitely think that you could definitely like it, even if you're not a big fan of anime. This show follows, please forgive me for butchering the Japanese names, Haruhi Fujioka, who is a new student at the private school or in high school, and she starts her first day and she accidentally breaks an 8 million yen vase that the host club owns, and the host club decides that in order to pay them back, that she will become a host with them, and then that will help her earn the money to pay them back for the vase. The funny thing about this is that since she has short hair, an ambiguous face, and she's wearing the boys' uniform, everyone assumes that she is a boy when she's not. And it's one of the funniest things ever, and it's just so funny. And there's also a lot of commentary on like other animes, like of the genre that it's in, but it's kind of meta, if that makes any sense. So you can appreciate it if you like anime. If you don't, I love it. It's so funny. Ouran High School Host Club is on Netflix, but it's the subbed version, which means that it has subtitles. The next show that I'm going to recommend is a show from the 90s, and that is Daria. Daria follows Daria Morgendorfer, who her family has just moved to the town of Lawndale, and she is the most cynical, sarcastic person ever, and she's so funny, and I just love the show so much. If you like sarcastic humor, then this is the show for you. Each episode is just a lot of fun. I laugh out loud watching it, even though I've seen every episode at least 2 times. Like, I still enjoyed it a lot, so definitely recommend. This is not on Netflix, but I'm pretty sure you can watch it on Hulu Plus. The last show that I'm going to recommend is a show that I really feel like not enough people know about it, and that show is Detentionaire. Detentionaire follows the story of Li Ping, who is framed for the biggest prank ever in the history of his high school and probably in the history of like the country. And it just follows him trying to figure out who framed him, why he was framed, all of that. And first of all, it's really funny. The overarching plot is really interesting. If you like conspiracies or anything like that, then it's definitely for you. This prank conspiracy is kind of revealed, and it's really a good time. Like, just a good show. And I think what is especially like notable about this show is that how it takes stereotypes and kind of turns them on their head. Detentionaire is not on Netflix. You can find it if you Google the name and look for the episodes. So those are all the animated TV shows that I'm going to recommend today. Hopefully you watch at least one of them. Again, if you watch one of them, I definitely recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you want to watch 2 of them, I recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender and Young Justice. Those are my top 2, I guess, even though this video was not ranked. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any opinions about any of the TV shows I talked about in this video, please be sure to leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified when I have the next part of this video up. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!